All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
What's going on, Colts Nation? I'm Lawrence. That's Loyalist. The Indianapolis Colts are 2-2-1. They are officially at 500, which is the best record they've had in a while after 5 games. But there's a lot to talk about after yesterday. I'll tell you that much. And Loyalists, give me your quick thoughts the day after the big game.
They won. That's really, I know this sounds shallow or whatever, but that's all I cared. Just get me the dub. Like I said, I love seeing the offensive line as much as it was wild to see all the shuffling around. But hey, we didn't just sit on our thumbs. We didn't just sit there and, you've seen some effort and stuff. So they won, and you still can see that they're trying to figure things out. So let's figure it out quickly, guys. Matt Ryan can't take this too much longer.
No. And when I talk to Gerard, I'm going to be like, hey, Gerard, I got a question for you. Let's say you have 4 days to get prepared and you're not going to do any kind of physical practice to prepare. And then your defensive coordinator is going to walk up and say, okay, so you're normally left cornerback. You're going to play defensive end. I want the safety to play left cornerback. I want the linebacker to play nose tackle. Okay. That's what they did on the offensive freaking line, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's nuts. And because they had no time to practice, I mean, this is out of the blue. Okay, you go here, you go here, you go here. That's crazy, man. And look, I understand they needed to try some fixing issues, but after the first quarter, you've seen how bad it was. I mean, how absolutely awful that was looking. I personally would have been like, no, we got to switch this back. This is worse than what it was before. All right, we didn't fix Jack. All right, we made it worse.
See, for me, the thing is if you're going to make that gamble, if you're going to make that move, I got to give it more than a quarter. You know what I mean? I got to give these guys, and like you said, I'm not making excuses because there were certain things like Matt Pryor. You can move the feet when the ball snapped. You don't have to just sit there and watch people go on each side of you. But what I'm saying is doing all that moving and stuff, that puts a ton of pressure on all 5 of those guys. Even the guys, that were in their normal spots, you know what I mean? Because we talk about just one spot. No, now we're talking about, 3/5 of your line is in totally different areas. And like I said, I'm not making excuses because there was a lot that it was like, that's like, JV football that not to do some of that stuff. But some of it is like, yeah, give this a little bit more time. But I agree. I think that there's certain moves that over this next 10 days, you might see them undo or maybe try a little differently with different pieces maybe.
Well, I hope so. I hope next week's practice is filled with a whole bunch of, all right, we're going to try Pryor at guard. We're going to put Smith back to where he's supposed to be. Ryman, you did okay other than the fact that you held the guy 6 times. Let's try not doing that. Maybe look at Dennis Kelly, see what he looks like, right?
What's that? Where's Waldo now? Right now, a lot of Colts Nation's like, where's Dennis Kelly? You know what I mean? It's like we brought him in and we haven't seen him yet.
No, and you know what? At this point in time, look, we're smashing right now the offensive line play because they deserve it. Okay. Mm-hmm. And we'll get into some positives because there's 2 sides to this. One, there is a little defense to the offensive line play. That's a damn good Denver defense. Okay. Mm-hmm. That is an incredibly good Denver defense. So not only were they starting off in a hole, they put themselves in a deeper hole by putting everybody in positions they weren't used to. Ryan Kelly goes down with a concussion. I think it was a concussion.
No, Ryan Kelly was the hip.
Hip injury. That's right. So you got more movement going around. Danny Pinner walks in at center, which is no surprise to anyone who watched him play last year. He played okay at center as opposed to right guard, which makes zero sense to me in the aspect of the center is more of a mental game than it is a physical game. I mean, it's still physical, but you got to take care of, blocking schemes, snap count, all that stuff in your head. So you're thinking more as a center than you are playing guard, and yet he played center much, much better.
Yeah, but the thing is where he was failing at guard was at the physical side of things.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I get it. He's comfortable in that center position. He's gotten a lot of reps at it. You move to guard, I almost want my guard to have like some extra heft to him. I want my guard to look like my left guard. You know what I mean? Just give me a big, solid stud that's willing to dominate and stuff. And by the way, guys, like Lauren said, we're going to get more positive on this, but while we're smashing on the offensive line, do me a favor and smash that like button, hit the subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and make sure you ring that notification bell. That way you are notified if next time we go live. But honestly, these guys just, I get it. And Penner looked so good there that it makes me wonder is there solutions? Because you look at free agency, there's not a lot of options. Okay. So is there other solutions that maybe you can use some pieces that you already have on this roster and try to find a trade or something to hopefully find a piece that might plug into that right side? And honestly, with Bernard Ryman, with Braden Smith, and whoever else, these guys are interchangeable. Left tackle is basically just Ryman only, okay? But if you look at the right side, you could look at Ryman, Braden Smith, like I said, Fries, anybody on that right side, but if you can find a left tackle or a right guard, keep Ryman at left tackle and just let him. It's not going to be pretty for Ryman, okay? He's a rookie. He was a project. But maybe we just are in a position now that we have to take the growth and the knowledge that he builds up, because the thing is I would argue that he still put in a better fight than what we've seen from Matt Pryor this year at that left tackle position. And some of those calls, by the way, I'm not wanting to be on the officials, but I think there needs to be some visits to the optometrist after that game, because there was some really questionable calls.
Oh, there was a pass interference call that I was just looking at going, what? I'm surprised it wasn't a pass interference call against Rodney Thomas on that deflection deep down the sideline. And that was as clean a play as I could possibly have. Mm-hmm. And then later on, the official's like, well, I can't throw a flag, so I'll just jump in the way of our defender so that he can't make a play on this deep pass. It's going to be a completion for 37 yards. Look, the way I look at it, the Colts can use their draft picks. A lot of you are like, don't use your draft picks, save them up so you can get a quarterback. I'm not talking about ammo to move up to get a quarterback. Those are your first and second round picks. If you want to use a 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round pick to go get a backup that's on someone else's team, I'm not even talking about practice squad. I'm talking about, go find a team that's got a really good offensive line already. They got a backup guard or a backup right tackle that you think is going to be, fill in and play much better than what we currently have, so that we could get this offensive line fixed. Do it now, because Matt Ryan needs that protection. All right. He is not, Lamar Jackson. He's not Josh Allen. He's not Patrick Mahomes. This guy is a pocket quarterback, and he got to have time in order to let his receivers run routes before he lets the ball go. All right. So let's get that fixed one way or another. That's all I'm asking for. Just do that, and we're good to go. And I'm utterly upset with Matt Pryor. It was bad. He was put in a bad spot, but let's face it, he hasn't played any position this year anywhere on that offensive line and done well. Okay. So that experiment's over for me. I don't even want him at guard. I want him gone. Okay. I want Matt Pryor off the team. All right. Replace him with somebody. That's all I'm asking. Just replace him with something. Look, we had an experiment with a guy named Mark Lewinsky that worked out pretty darn well. He was a backup in Seattle, and it didn't really cost jack, right? For us to have him for those years that we had him. Go try doing something like that. That's what I want to see. Okay. That's what I want to see. Outside of the offensive line, though, there was a lot of positives to take away from this game.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the thing, I mean, you sit there and the game got over last night, and then we went in and hop into Discord, and it was like, I mean, I love our Discord, okay? Because you got the burn it down crowd, and then you got the no, let's talk about this, and then you got the everything diversified in that Discord and stuff like you said. And it was really cool to sit there and hear what everybody else, because Twitter, you just know on Twitter what you're going to get is basically fire and brimstones, and heck, they're getting rid of Jim Irsay and everybody else on the team. So yeah, like I said, there was a lot to be happy about. I mean, defense, there was offensive stuff to even be happy about. I mean, as bad as things looked, there was still some things to even be upbeat on the offensive side of things.
Alec Pierce played his butt off. All right. There was a play, and many of you watched the game remember it. That was a strip sack. That was a strip sack. As Matt Ryan went to throw the football, Chubb hit his arm. The ball came out, and then he kind of flung it forward, right? It was empty palm. It was an empty palm throw. So that was technically a strip sack. Alec Pierce ran in front of the defender at the last second and snagged that ball for a first down. You've seen the look on the defender's face. He's like, how did that happen? I had an interception, pick six, and now it's a first down. Alec Pierce looked phenomenal. I can't wait to see him continue to grow with this offense and become that number two, maybe even, may I dare say, supplant Michael Pittman as our number one.
Well, I'll tell you right now, number one, number two, you know how I feel about that. I'm not really into all that, but you know what? Like you said, Alec Pierce, you know what? And I'm going to sit there and just talk, through the first quarter. Okay. Alec Pierce, Jelani Woods, Wally Cox, Kylan Granson. I mean, there has been a lot, and I want to say this. Okay. Matt Ryan, I'm not going to exclude him from the two horrendous interceptions that he threw, because both of those interceptions, those pockets were clean. The O-line, that was one of the few times that the O-line actually did their job, okay? So I'm not ignoring that. But putting that aside, Matt Ryan played like he was Braveheart. I mean, he played a courageous game. I tried to find it. Somebody put it in the chat, and I couldn't find it real quick enough, but I mean, that is absolutely true. Matt Ryan, he's dodging bullets, baby. He was zigging and zagging and everything else.
Instead of screaming freedom, he was like getting hit, going first down.
I mean, and that right there at the age of 37, like you said, continuously, week in, week out. I mean, good gravy. The fact that this young man he's still young, 37, but the fact that he's still out there, positive, leading this team, no matter how rough everything was through the entire game, when we needed him in overtime, he helped drive this team down the field and got us into, Chase McLaughlin's zone. And that was, I mean, like I said, guys, Thursday night games are ugly anyhow and everything. Man, just 2-2-1. I sat here because I was trying to figure out before the game ever happened, 1-3-1. What would I feel like? What would I think? And then 2-2-1. And you know what? There was no way that 2-2-1 was going to make me feel anywhere remotely close. And it's only one game, but my goodness, now we're what? We have a chance. If a couple games go, we have the chance to be leading the FC South. What in the world? I mean, seriously.
At 500.
Yeah, at the truest 500 possible. I mean, it's all still there. I still believe in this organization's going to fix it. You see that they're moving her, like you said. I'm sure Chris Ballard's on the phones constantly trying to find, turning any stone. He's probably looking at the CFL and everywhere else to try to find somebody to bring in. But like you said, get one of these positions solidified. Okay, we know we got the center taken care of, whether it's Kelly or Penter. Okay. You know, you got your left guard taken care of as long as Q stays healthy. You know, you've got either your right guard or your right tackle taken care of with Braden Smith. Find me one more piece at that right side of the field. Okay. Or if you can magically find a left tackle that was just slipped through all the cracks, but I don't see that happening. And then just let your rookie Ryman, let him figure it out. Let him learn through the hard knocks. Because I don't know if you guys are, been following the Colts as long as I have and stuff. But the thing was, Anthony Costanzo, when he joined this team, had a slow learning curve it was a pretty thin, you know what I mean? But look what he turned out to be. Who knows? I'm not saying that that's what Ryman is going to be, but if we can just get these reps in. I mean, more games that he gets, you can see the fight in this kid. I mean, he's out there. I mean, he was getting, just having a rough day at the office, you know what I mean? But he never gave up. The fight never left him. Whereas you looked at Matt Pryor, sometimes I was like, the fight had left him, got on the plane, and was already halfway to Indy. I mean, I'm so disappointed in Pryor because, and like you said, we're already paying for it. I mean, it's mostly a guaranteed contract, but I don't want this dude out here unless he's my swing guy and we just need to fill him in, like we did last year. Use him intermittently. But if he has to sit there and get a lot of reps, he's just not consistent in his effort level at all.
So the last positive that I want to talk about on the offensive line is Deion Jackson. In all honesty, I thought he played tough for, being put in, not only being put in the position that he was in, but a guy who's never really played, many actual snaps with, regular season. And he came out there and he busted his butt, hard nosed, running north and south, picking up yards, breaking tackles, did a good job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And to your point, I mean, he was not, I'm sure he was not expecting that workload. I mean, Nyheim Hines was probably a big piece to this puzzle going in. And then very similar to what we had with Paris Campbell a couple of years ago, first series of plays, and next thing it takes a super bad hit. And by the way, Nyheim, hope you're doing better, bub. Hope that you get all the bells in the back and sort that out.
Apparently, Nyheim Hines came to the coach at halftime and was apologizing to him for stumbling around and said, "I feel good. Put me back in." Yeah.
Not in this day and age, my guy. Not in this day and age. But you know what? I mean, there again, that doesn't mean that he's fully healed. You know what I mean? Because you know how that player's mentality. I'm all right, coach. Got an arm hanging by a thread or something. I'm all right, coach. I can do it. But there again, I'm very hopeful that he comes back. And the thing is one other positive for the offensive side: no catastrophic injuries. Last night there was injuries after injuries after injuries, and I mean, what was it? Three, I think, season-ending injuries. None of them, thank God willing, none of them. I haven't heard 100% on Quiddy yet, but none of them, even on the Colts side. So,
yeah, the Broncos were worse for wear when it came to the injury report.
Mm-hmm.
They had multiple guys out for the season, broken legs and ACLs and all sorts of stuff. So that's always good. Even though our injury right now list is, longer than our actual roster, it's not as bad as it actually looks, right? Because we also got 10 days to sit here and try to, mend and lick our wounds a little bit.
Yeah. Also, one more thing I just wanted to sit there and say was the thing was you ever had something where you sat there and you tried to do a job or whatever, and you did everything wrong. But by the time it all got done and everything, you came out no worse for the wear and you were in good position. That's what the Colts are right now. They have made a lot of mistakes, okay? Offensively, they have made a ton of mistakes. But the thing is whenever all the dust clears after the first 5 games, and no matter what the result is, the worst case scenario, we're going to be half a game out of first place in the AFC South. And guys, like we've said repeatedly, give this team time to figure it out. But I mean, they've screwed up, messed up, and effed up everything they can, and they still are no worse for the wear. And to me, that is such a huge thing. And then you've got your defense balling out, which I'm sure we'll get into a little bit more, and your special teams. Did we find a kicker? Did we find a clutch kicker who can kick it, consistently from 50 plus? From what we saw last night, I think we might have.
Absolutely. So we're going to get into the better positives when it comes to special teams and defense right after this. This video is sponsored by Newsbreak. Newsbreak is an app used over 1.5 billion times a month by people just like you to get local news via articles or videos by those who are focused on that specific area. People like myself. Just use the link in the description of this video to download it. Then search a city, state, or someone specific, like myself, Colts Law. Then make sure to follow them so you'll get all the news fresh as it comes out. This channel is proudly sponsored by the Backroom Collection. They do beautiful sports canvas art with football, basketball, baseball, and other sports themes. Special orders are accepted and autograph pieces are available. Many Indianapolis Colts signed pieces will be available beginning in November. Just use your discount code CL10 to purchase the pieces you want to spice up your living area. That's CL10. Amen. I already said that all day yesterday, a little bit today. He got to go. He got to go. Gotta go. But we're done with the negatives. Let's go talk about the positives. Speaking of,
I see this. I will root for the Patriots or the Cowboys if I have to. I will root for anything that will help out the Colts. So yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Brian, it's not that bad. It is not the Achilles like a lot of people thought it was. It is a high ankle sprain. The MRI came back negative. The X-rays came back negative. They're doing an MRI today to make sure the severity of this ankle sprain that they have. So that is good news for this defense that balled the hell out. All right. I'm talking DeForest Buckner came, and I called that. I said that right side of the line for Denver's offense is all backups. DeForest Buckner is going to eat the hell out of that defensive line because they're going to switch a lot, right? And Grover Stewart, DeForest Buckner, they're going to have a day. And boy, did both those guys have days. All right. DeForest got the stats. Grover got a blocked field goal. All right. I mean, these guys came out there and busted their butts. The D-line, Kwity Paye, Yannick Ngakoue, the backups, all of they played their butts off, this defensive line did.
Yeah, and the thing was that was a lot of rotation for last night. I mean, Ben Banigou, I haven't looked at the snap count yet, but I think he's got the most snaps that he's had all year long. And he didn't kill us out there. You know what I mean? You sit there and you really are starting to see what this Bradley defense is looking like and stuff. And you know what? I'm here for it. I love the fact that we're getting these guys off the field when we need to. I mean, even there was like 2 or 3 first down throws that Russ threw where every time, either Defoe or Yannick or somebody was, I mean, just like in his face, like not even a quarter of a second, and that was a sack. And the thing is you keep chopping that wood like they've been saying and stuff. You keep bringing the heat and doing that. And hey, we even saw a little bit of blitzing yesterday. Thank you. I mean, we're starting to see a nice, very much more well-rounded defense. A lot of man coverage. I mean, it worked out some of the times it didn't. But, still, just it is very enjoyable to sit there and watch the defense and know that you can rely on them. Know that you can sit there and hope. I mean, the thing is they're not getting the turnovers yet, but they're getting the stops. And right now, the turnovers are coming. We talked before the season. Turnovers are sort of a quirky thing. They come and go. And I maybe today, or yesterday was the start for, because we seen Gilly, Thomas. I mean, we got some interceptions, got some on for the good guys. Instead of us always giving the ball away, we actually got some for the good guys. So good job, defense.
So even the sack from Yannick Ngakoue, that was springboarded by DeForest Buckner. He took on a double team and ran both guys right up into Russell Wilson's face. Russ had to run forward. Well, since Buckner had Yannick's guy and his own, pushed him back, Unique was standing there with nothing to do, so he's like, look, gift wrap Russell Wilson for me. Thank you. And he took it, and good for him. The linebackers, for the most part, played pretty good. Dude, that was weird. Okay, I'm watching this play. I'm watching the game over, and there was a throw to Jerry Jeudy in the back of the end zone.
Zaire.
And Zaire Franklin was covering him.
Mm-hmm.
What? Are you kidding me? And he was beat at first, and Zaire closed it that quick.
Yep.
Right as the ball got there.
When that ball was there, he was blanketed. Yes, he was. And I got to pull this one up from B-ball because this is something that I was really nervous about with what we saw. Kenny Moore had himself a game. He had himself a game. He may have not filled the stat sheet, but I'll tell you right now, when his job was to set the edge, him and Zaire on a couple of those really strung things out. Kenny Moore was, game-saving play. That one to the tight end where he just gets in there and rips that ball out in the end zone. I mean, let's be honest. If any of these teams got it in the end zone, it was about game over, So shout out to Kenny Moore the second. I mean, thank you. We needed to see that to start turning. At least I did, because I was starting to wonder, where is he fitting? Is he going to acclimate? And he played awesome, especially whenever he was in the slot corner.
Let's talk about Rodney Squared. Okay.
Yes.
Because Rodney Squared. Wow. I mean, these are guys that were, walked into this season in training camp. They were expected to be the backup safeties. Mm-hmm. Rodney Thomas and Rodney McLeod both were expected to be backups. Here they are 2 weeks in a row playing starter, and they're they're being studs out there. Mm-hmm. Thomas is out there getting his hands on the ball every other time it's thrown deep. Rodney McLeod is out there making tackle after tackle after tackle. All right. These guys are out there playing phenomenal football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the thing was every once in a while you get in a conversation, and here again in Discord, Lawrence was in there and he asked a question. He's like, what do we do when Julian Blackmon gets feeling better? It gets, and the thing was I all night I just kept thinking, because it's like right now I don't want to take these two, like you said, the Rock and Rodneys. I don't want to take them off the field. Okay. So I'm sitting here thinking, but I do want to get Julian Blackmon on the field. And it's like, man, I don't know. How many safeties can we have out there, Coach? Can we
put them all out there?
That's what I'm telling you, man. But that's a nice thing to have. Not only did we sit there and get some nice depth pieces in the draft, but like you said, that 7th round pick coming out, and he's playing like a top 3 round draft pick, and it's his rookie season. That's phenomenal. And the thing is his speed, just the way he constantly can recover. I mean, even that one play where you, like you said, Jeudy, I think it was Jeudy, where he went up, and the very first one where it bounced off his hands. At first, you watch the initial play and like, oh, he was beat a little bit. No, he was never beat. All it was he jab step, and then he just spun around. He was never even out of position on that play. And I'll tell you right now, that play when the official, 3-on-2, get out of there, official. Get the heck out of there. I mean, I honestly feel like that would have been an interception by Thomas also, whenever the 2 receivers and then you had all of them and the official got tied up. That one right there, I was like, man, I'm pretty sure that Thomas, he would have at least made a play on the ball. And like I said, maybe that would have been his first interception. Man, I'll tell you right now, very, very impressed with our secondary all around, because we haven't even mentioned Isaiah Rodgers Sr., and he came in and made some outstanding plays, both in the run and in the pass pro.
Oh, the whole defense played great. The whole defense. And we ain't even talked about really, the star of the show. The defensive player of the year. No, I'm not talking about the 2019 defensive player of the year. I'm talking about the 2022 defensive player of the year. All right, because Stephon Gilmore is out there playing. There's not another corner out there in the NFL playing as any better than Stephon Gilmore is right now.
Yeah, I mean, you sit there and you look at Patrick Surtain Jr. or whatever, I would argue everybody was like, oh, he might be the best cornerback. I'll tell you right now, he wasn't even the best cornerback on the field last night. He really was not. I mean, he came in and he did his job and everything. But you know what? He was, Gilly, he only had got credit for 2 pass breakups, but it just felt like there was more. I mean, it really did. It felt like he was in the hip pocket. I mean, he was shutting it down. How many times did we see Russ? It looked like Russ was going to throw it, and he was like, nope, Gilly's there. Next thing you know, he's running outside the pocket and everything. So, yeah, this defensive secondary is legit. And the thing is that is nice to say. You know what I mean? Outside of, Gilly and Moore, I mean, those were the questions for me going into not Gilly, sorry, Moore, going into this weekend and he came in and showed out. So I'm like, man, everywhere you look on the secondary of this field, and this is always without Shaq. This is all without Shaq Leonard, okay? Because, to your point with Zaire, you replace him with Shaq, all of a sudden now your pass pros have gotten better, and I don't think you're going to lose much, if any, in your run stoppage either. So great job, Colts defense. Great job. Thank you for keeping us in the game.
Literally, you went out there and you were like, all right, the offense ain't doing jack or squat right now. All right, because that offensive line looks like it's made of sponges. And so they went out there and like, all right, it's on us to stop Russell Wilson, stop KJ Hamler and Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy and all these guys. And they did it, right? They did it. They drive after drive after drive. They had literally, okay, if memory serves me correctly, they had 6 drives last night. The Broncos did that were 5 or less plays before they had to punt or turn the ball over. That's freaking amazing. That's freaking amazing. And then when they did play the bend but don't break, they literally bent but not broke, right? They got down in the red zone and were like, nope, you ain't getting jack. You're here, you ain't getting nothing, right? And they didn't. They interception, pass breakup, whatever it is, they did what they had to do to keep our offense in the game. And that was enough for Matt Ryan. I think he had enough at the end of the game, right? Late in the fourth quarter, he was like, dude, defense is doing we got to do something. And he was playing, he went to Superman mode and like stepped above what he was normally doing just to get that effort out there to get those 2 drives for field goals at the late fourth quarter and overtime to win the game. And speaking of that, hi, Chase. Hi. You're welcome here in Indianapolis. I don't remember the last time we did not score a touchdown and the field goal kicker made every field goal to win a game. It's been some time. Thank you. Special teams did fantastic. They not only field goal kicking, but kickoff coverage, they did great as well. One of they had a field goal that was blocked, which would have won the game, for Denver had they had made that, because that would have put it into a point where the Colts would have had to score a touchdown rather than a field goal to tie it to win the game. So that's a bad situation. This was amazing from there to there.
You sat there and said, what about the field goal and stuff? And the game popped in my head. Now everybody in the chat's like, remember the Ravens? Yeah.
That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. And I'll tell you right now, like you said, he needs to go ice down his leg. Okay. He's got an extra few days. Ice that bad boy down, because you know what? He took every opportunity he had and was successful. And like you said, the special teams as a whole, Grover with his block, Washington for the Broncos, he is a dynamic punt returner. You didn't hear hardly anything about him and any effect that he had to the game. Good luck, Laws, because I did that earlier, and it is a little rough from time to time. But you know what? You were talking about Matt Ryan, and I want to bring this up. That second interception, okay? I'm not talking about the play or the neck. His reaction, Matt Ryan's reaction, okay, after that second interception. You remember how a couple games ago against the Chiefs, I said, look at Matt's eyes. You could see in his eyes he was, and he did. He went into beast mode and took the game over. after that second interception, he went out there and had a conversation with the bench that he was sitting on, I don't like you anymore type stuff, but man, he came back in after that. And it was like I said, that's when the courage, we talk about playing courageous. That's when the courage really started to show, because you were seeing Benito hitting him on the wrist. I mean, it looked like, Ryan's wrist had taken quite a shot. He's fought through that, once he got the feeling back into it. That pass play to Pierce where Chubb tips the ball and stuff. But I mean, he just was not going to let this team down anymore. It's like after that second interception, he's like, that's it. That's it. This offensive line ain't blocking worth the crap. I don't care. I got a rookie receiver. I've got Pierce out here. I've got Michael Pittman Jr. We're going to matriculate this thing down the field. We don't have to get it all the way there. We got a kicker that can kick it from 50 plus. So we're okay. But yeah, like you said, not the ideal game plan, but sort of expected. But the thing is now, if we can win this game without Shaq, without JT, let's build on that, guys. Let's get healthy. God, let's get healthy. But most importantly, let's figure something out on this offensive line. And now sit there and say, okay, NFL, you guys waited around for us. Now here we are. Now it's time for us to show you what we're really about, because I really do believe that this team, come the second half of the season, like they have basically all throughout the Reich era, I think that the second half of this season, hopefully a little sooner, hopefully this is the one that gets them going, get back in there, because this game next week against the Jags, massive importance.
Absolutely, guys. Just let you know, please smash that like button. All right, I'd appreciate it if you haven't done it already. Do so. Hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. Tag that notification bell. Share this to your favorite social media. I'm going to give you a warning. I may be without power any day now, and I might be. If that happens, it could be a week before I get it back. Little light on the electric bill. Can't help it. I'm gonna do what I can. If you guys are interested in helping, feel free, use the donation link in the description of the video and the one that's scrolling right here. I'd appreciate any kind of help. Thank you very much, guys. Matt Ryan, I heard a lot about some stuff that's going on. People talking about, oh, Matt Ryan had happy feet. The whole game, he had happy feet. Happy feet? Did you see what kind of pressure he was under? Not, of course, even when he's got a moment to throw the ball, of course he's going to have happy feet, right? He's going to, because he's like, I got to get rid of this football. I don't know how long this is going to last, right? It is what it is. He didn't have time to sit there and look for every single receiver out there, every little route that was running. In situations like that, when you ain't got no time, you're going to miss wide open people, right? You're going to miss people because you ain't got time to look from here to here to here to here. Can't go through your progressions. You got to go progression one, throw, because you ain't got time to do anything after that, right? So let's, Frank, Chris, get out there, find a way to get Matt Ryan another second of protection, please. Please. All right. And then, even with that, let's use some north and south screens. Okay. Let's get some tight end screens, some running back screens, north and south ones, not these flat wide receiver screens that get seen immediately and then tackled for a loss. I don't want to see that. These north and south screens. That's what I want to see. All right. Because we got big boys that can do some real damage in north and south screens.
Yeah. And my message would go to the players in general. Guys, you can do better. We've seen it. You've shown it. Get out there, find what it is that you guys need to work. I mean, 10 days, and I get it. These guys have families. They want to go I hope that the offensive line keeps that a little limited. You know what, guys? Go on a fishing trip. Go on a hunting trip. I don't give a crap what, go bowling. Figure it out, guys. Because you know what? This seriously, the level of degradation that we've had from this offensive line over the last couple of years is, that's not the talent that we have on here. You know, Chris Ballard brought these guys in, and they are talented. Quentin Nelson is a talented player. Ryan Kelly is not washed up. You know what I mean? Braden Smith, you know, these guys are legit, and they just need to find it again. And I get it. The guy on your left or the guy on your right may not be playing to the best of their ability. That's all right. Figure it out.
Or the problem is they might be playing at the best of their ability.
Well, like I said, even Pryor, we saw better from Pryor than anything we've seen compared to last night. That was, I mean, whoa. All right, back to the positive. Sorry, guys. Reel it in. But yeah, like I said, that's my message. Guys, players, everybody needs to go and have take their time, sort it out, but they need to come back with this. Like I said, you guys have sat there and mucked it up and chucked it up and done everything wrong that you can, and you're still near the top of the heap. And unfortunately, right now, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, the AFC South, that's what it is. It's a heap. You know what I mean? All you got to do is be that little speck of white on top of that heap and get yourself in the playoffs and just show this organization, show this NFL what you guys are made of.
Absolutely. And I think that's going to do it for this episode. If I still have power on Sunday, I'll probably do a live stream to a game reaction. I don't know what's going to go on until between now and then, but hey, I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm Lawrence Owen. That's Colts Loyalist. This was Colts Law, and as usual, have a good one.
Just because a player's not a household name doesn't mean we can't make him a household name.
Hey, offense. We cannot keep putting games on the defense and special teams week after week after week. At some point, you're going to just have to outscore another team when the defense isn't playing their best. So you got to figure it out and get it fixed like ASAP.